Hello folks, and welcome to the Rose Jewel Railroad. I am excited to announce that I have made a pretty big change to my layout, and that is I now have Fastrack all throughout. As you remember, these first two lines right here, this one and this one, were Fastrack on my last video, but now I've added the outer loop is all Fastrack. I guess the timing of it kind of, the way it worked, I mean, at one time, only this inner loop, smaller loop, was Fastrack. But when I got this train right here, it came with a small loop of Fastrack, and I just had to go to the hobby shop and buy a few more straight pieces and make it a little bit bigger. And then when I got, I believe it was this train right here that shouldn't be on the shelf around Christmas time, but that is the Polar Express. That was my second line cheap set, and it came with a small loop of Fastrack, and that's when I added this loop. The middle loop is when I added that, when I got that train. And a little while ago, got my third starter set, this Texas Special, and it came with some track. And, well, it kind of got me started, but this outer loop, as you that watch my channel know, it goes all the way over here, and then it goes all the way around over here. And I have I got these two tracks right here, and so I got switches here and here. And I used to have, when I had the tubular track, I had I had a set of switches that, and it kind of went basically about where this road is now. But I decided that you know, when I was purchasing this Fastrack, I said, well, you know, her switches are kind of expensive, and I said, you know, I really don't have to have that there, so I decided to just do away with it. It actually, what it was, you know, just to explain myself, I got the outer loop here, and I have this loop here. Mainly the reason I got this loop is when I'm by myself and I'm not making videos, I don't like to run my gateman all the time, so that's why I have switches there. And this loop right here, I've had a loop there as long as I can remember, and a lot of times it's just to display, you know, train cars and whatnot. And the original 4x8, of course, had a loop here, but it did not have a switch. But when I added all this, and part of me wanted to keep the original 4x8 intact, so I added a switch there, and I had a loop there. But I never used it. I did display some cars there, but I thought, well, you know, that's just kind of silly. I just, you know, I'm not going to do that anymore. But, yeah. I had to, you know, I had 027 on my tubular, when it was all tubular, and I went 036. Because of the angles and whatnot, I had to cut away at this right here, and I'm gonna add a piece across here. I really wouldn't have to, but I guess it just looked a little better. But the reason being, obviously, that I just couldn't make the angle work right. And it actually worked out better anyways. This building here, this watchtower was about in this area, and this area here. And it, I didn't have room for it there anymore, but it fit there, and that's kind of a better spot for it anyways. I probably need to saw this a little bit more back. You can see it just barely clears. And before I get everything set in stone, in case there's just a hair longer cars or something, I'm gonna all I really need to take it back is like a ½ inch, but I'll go like an 1.5 inches, just to make sure. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. Just to explain what happened here, I was at my local hobby shop, a little endorsement hit here, Madison Hobby Shop in Madison, Wisconsin. It's on the west side of Madison, real small shop. But anyways, I was just in there just kind of glancing around. He doesn't have a large inventory by no means. And while I was walking around there, they had some track in there on consignment. And I thought, well, I thought it was quite a bit of track. There wasn't any switches, but I thought, wow, that'd work out pretty good. It was like half price, a section of Fastrack was like $2.50. So I thought, gosh, I better jump at it. It seemed like, there was quite a bit of track there. And just coincidentally, just like a few days before that, I wrote down what I needed to make this a Fastrack, and I didn't have the piece of paper with me, but it was kind of fresh in my memory, and I'm like, I'm in the hobby shop. If I'm gonna do it, I should do it now. And I went a little less than I thought I would need, just to be safe and whatnot. But and I got home, and I just put the Fastrack right over the tubular track, to try to keep it about where it was and whatnot. And I got to looking, and I knew I needed four switches to do it the way I've got it. Like I said, the old one had 6 switches, but I was going to do away with that. And but I remember at the time I bought that track, he only had one manual switch on the shelf. Like I said, he doesn't have a large inventory, and I was thinking, well, gosh, at least I'd like to have 2 to get started. But I thought, well, if nothing else, I could just, buy a straight piece for now and, get by. I wouldn't have to have the switches, and just purchase the switches at a later date. I did want, originally I wanted, what do you call it? Power switches, with the switch. These are manual, but I kind of, after I seen the price of them, I thought, well, and my layout, is an island layout. I can walk all the way around it anyway, so it didn't really matter. So anyways, after I bought the first initial and I put it together, I needed a few pieces, and anybody that's ever put Fastrack down, they know that, these little pieces like right here, you sometimes got to pick up, just, the little inch ones and whatnot. And So I had it all written down what I wanted, and I had it written down that I needed. I was just going to buy that extra switch piece, still had it, and just buy 4 straight pieces. Well, I guess I got lucky because somebody else came in and did the same thing as the other person and was selling some a lot of switches and grade crossings and that kind of stuff. And this stuff was like new, like the guy Chris that owns the hobby shop said. He goes, I don't think they've been out of the box, and it kind of appeared that way to me too. So he had like 6 of those manual switches, and they were at a really good price too. And I thought, geez, I might as well just buy the switches now. And so I bought them and the little pieces I need. And, so I'm pretty content. I don't think I pretty much got it all correct. I'm thinking about making a grade crossing. Like between where I'm standing now and this depot on the town of Jewel. And I did pick up a couple of grade crossings. So, but if you purchase the Lionel grade crossings, it's going to be a little difficult. Like this is a piece here, but then my piece over here is over here. So I'll have to maybe buy some shorter pieces and move it over and whatnot. But no, the way it is now, I'm pretty content. So yeah, so I was able to do that whole outer loop, which is, I don't know, can't remember how many inches it is. It's approximately 1 scale mile, and I was able to do that for half the price I was originally figuring it if everything was new. So and I got it all together. And a lot of times with older Fastrack, you get dead spots. I was kind of worried about that because I really didn't know how old this Fastrack was. But no, it works great. I was going to try to, this is kind of a no-no. And I know Sean's, excuse me, train depot talks about this. You got to curve this way and a curve this way. And I've had problems with like those bigger passenger cars. I can't really run that on this loop right there because it hits that spot. And while I had everything tore up, and I had buildings slid all over and stuff, I was trying to come up with a way to get away with that. And I'd have to have a full piece right in here because let me stop this train for a second. Between the trucks, this truck, this truck and this truck, I move that on the straight, that pretty much, okay, Texas, let's get out of the way. But that's pretty much a whole straight in order to do it right, because that's where you run into problems. These are old 42 cars, and I can run them on this old 36, but the problem is when you get into a curve like that, and then the two trucks are going 2 different directions, and that's where it'll derail. So anyways, I was trying to run it out this way, and I just couldn't, the way it was, the math was working out, I'd be like down to this Shell station, and I didn't want to do that. So it is what it is. And the good part is, before I only had 1 loop that I could run those big train cars on, and now I've got 2. So, and of course this outer loop is arguably the main loop anyway. It's the longest loop. So I'm pretty happy about all that. So I've been running these Lion Chiefs for quite a while, and I've just been enjoying them. I got kind of lucky on this Fastrack too with my gateman. You know, this one's just got this pressure switch, which, you know, it isn't the greatest patent, you know, but the way I was looking at it, you got to have, yeah. Anyways, the way it is right now, you know, I would much rather run that electronically, but I didn't think that this spring thing would work under the Fastrack, but you know, it actually works better under the Fastrack than it did the tubular track, and that thing's actually designed for tubular track, so it just barely clears. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So I'll run you around the layout a little bit here. One thing that I'm excited about, you know, to be honest with you, I've been wanting to do a lot more model railroading with this, and, you know, add more scenery and ballast and, you know, hide the wires and stuff like that. But I was kind of holding off because I knew that I was going to add Fastrack to that, and of course with the old 36 curves versus the old 27 curves, I just didn't know, you know, how much my track pattern was going to change, and of course I was trying to get rid of this too that I was talking about. But so now I'm pretty happy with my track pattern and content, you know. I can start getting things a little bit more permanent, and I've always wanted to add some shrubbery in between these tracks and possibly some ballast and whatnot, and like I said, you know, hide some wires. And I've got quite a few trees that I've purchased, and I was just kind of holding off because I wasn't quite sure the way the track was going to lay. And so that'll give me an opportunity to do a lot more scenery to the layout, and I'm excited about that, you know, because that's the first thing you got to get set when you do your layout is your you know, your track and how you're going to do that. I mean, look at JD Stucks. He's got that big layout, and you know, he had to get his track set first, the way, you know, he's going to run it. And not that I'm anywhere as near to a layout like JD Stucks, but yeah, it's true. You just kind of got to get that set. And because I just, I didn't want to be, especially when you start, you know, putting trees and stuff in place, that you just kind of want everything to be set first. And so I'm excited to see what I can come up with. And I got a daughter that's a real good artist. Hopefully she'll be willing to help me. So I'll get this fixed up a little bit. I guess I wouldn't have to, but just to be consistent with everything else, I should get that fixed up. But anyways, this has been the Rose Jewel Railroad, and if you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. And I love reading comments. You know, go ahead and leave comments. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, please. You know, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm having fun. And when I get new subscribers, I always check out their channel. And yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. So this has been the Rose Jewel Railroad, and thank you very much for watching. Bye now.